Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, whoever you are. If you are out there and you are listening to the sound of my voice, that means you are breathing. So if you were sad, if you were mad, I need you to switch it up and get it together, because that means you got an opportunity to do something different than you did before. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Today we are having hamburgers, and I can't wait to sink my mouth into this juicy. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to say my blessing. You know exactly how we do it. Lord, thank you for this food that I'm about to receive. Lord, it nourish and strengthen my body for Christ's sake. Lord, I thank you for provision in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So, like I said, we're having hamburgers, and this, we're just going to have to wait for this. This is too much goodness for me at this hour, at this present time. Let me just sit that to the side for now. And yes, I'm going to build my burger. I think y'all may enjoy coming along on this journey with me. We're going to start with one burger. We're not going to get too greedy at first. I don't want y'all to see how greedy I am. I made some sauce. This is my remoulade sauce, but it's also going to be my hamburger sauce today. So I'm going to start with a little of this. If you can see that there, it's like a Zaxby sauce, like a Cajun remoulade. That's what it is. Using it for my hamburger. We're going to do both sides of the bun. If you want to know how I made this, I don't have a separate video for it yet, but I think I am going to do a separate recipe for it, because right now it's at the end of my Cajun salmon recipe. You need this in your life. You need it in your life. I'm going to have to show y'all how to make it. Promise. Ooh. Promise you need it. It's spicy. I like spicy. I know a lot of you out there in the mukbang community like spicy food too. I made this pretty spicy today. It's got a big kick to it. Big old kick. I'm going to sit this to the side for now. I am going to add some lettuce. Can y'all see me? Can you see me over there? I'm going to add some lettuce. I don't really do tomatoes, but just to make it look pretty, I got to eat a tomato anyways. I'll do it anyways, just because. I love onion. Got to have it. I already got my cheese. I grilled these burgers. Had to. I was gonna do. Should I do a double? Y'all, should I do it or should I don't? Do it or don't? Am I gonna be able to eat this? Okay, you talk me into it, y'all. Oh, this should have been my thumbnail right here. Oh. Let me see. I might want to do. Bear with me, y'all. Just bear with me. This is behind the scenes with Freddie Cooks. Should this be my thumbnail? Does that look exciting enough for a thumbnail? I don't know why I have to have my mouth open and all dramatic with it. But you get the point. Okay. All right. Back to life, back to reality. That was some pickles over here. I'm going to throw my sauce back up here because I've also got some company. Yes. So over here, I also have some mozzarella sticks. I have some buffalo chicken nuggets. Is that a nugget? Buffalo chicken popper. You go with that. And I also got some jalapeno poppers over here with my little sauce. I think this is about to be lovely. I know it is. Today, I am drinking. Okay, I'm doing something a little bit different. I want to do this. I got this from the dollar store. Can you see? Can't tell if you can see that flavor. This flavor is Shocking Blue Raspberry. It is yet still a 0-calorie drink. Is it sour? Ooh, it's sour on the go. Sour. Ooh. Sour on the go. Blue. Wait, Rockin' Blue Raspberry. Pour it up. Oh, doesn't that look electrifying? It's a little cool already, just a little cool. And y'all know I don't keep ice in my refrigerator. Some of y'all don't know. Some of y'all might have heard me say that before. But I got a popsicle to cool it off some. Okay. And I'm going to sit this to the side because it'll be on the ground and I'm going to be crying. I ain't trying to be crying today because I got this in front of me. So I hope you all doing well out there. I really do. Hope you're safe. Hope you're healthy. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the first bite. Although you couldn't see me. No. Take it. Mwah. There you go. Don't never say I never gave you nothing. Doesn't that look fantastic? Oh my gosh. That's a thumbnail too. You already know it's fire. Can be better. Taste one of these. Not bad. Yeah, like I got these from a dollar store. Jalapeno poppers, mozzarella sticks, and buffalo chicken poppers. Now, I don't know if y'all dollar store have a freezer section. But that's how we do it over here in these parts. And when I say dollar store, I don't mean like Family Dollar or Dollar General. I mean everything $1 store. And they're actually pretty good. That buffalo chicken thing I just had was pretty good. Now, I don't know if it's made of plastic and sheetrock, but it tastes good, especially with this sauce. It's the buffalo chicken popper. And it's good, too. Excellent. I was gonna do a Dirty Dozen challenge by B Love and Prissy P. That everybody's trying to get on that train. I was gonna get on that train too. But I started thinking, I really feel like I can do it. The bacon ain't no joke. I know I can do the 12 pieces of bacon in no time. 12 eggs can be deceiving. You think for a minute 12 eggs will go in a hurry. But then you get to looking at 12 eggs and you're like, what the heck did I get myself into? I really had to think about that. And if anybody who's watching me and don't know what I'm talking about, the Dirty Dozen Challenge by B Loves Life and Prissy P, I think, PR gang. We have to eat 12 eggs and 12 slices of bacon in 12 minutes. You have the eggs any way you want them. I saw some people eat boiled eggs, which I think is ridiculous. You gotta be out of your mind. Eating 12 boiled eggs? Oh my gosh. In 12 minutes? I got to think about my cholesterol. First of all, if I'm not mistaken, eggs has quite a bit of cholesterol, I think. And then that bacon too. 12 eggs and 12 slices of bacon. My cholesterol would have been sitting on top of the world. I ain't trying to have no cholesterol high. That is not the move I'm trying to make in my life right now. I hope y'all can hear me okay. Because I do hear my air running. And I hear my earbuds in. Testing, 1, 2, 5. Can you hear me? Really do want to continue my conversation that we were having. I've been spending a lot of time on the topic of love, and that's not all I'm going to talk about. But the reason that I'm taking some time, just a little time with the subject of love is because love is the foundation of it all, really. In many more ways than you would imagine. But if you're not careful, you won't see it. Because people in general have so many different ideas about what love is and what love does. But love is a word that comes and goes. But few people really know what it means to really love somebody. You know what I'm saying, love. More than just a word. I want to share something with you before we continue. We're going to continue. We're going to talk about truth. We're going to really get into truth. That's where I'm going with this thing. Truth is a production, is produced by love. How do you know? Well, just one example, I'm going to give you a scenario. And I used it before, but it was some time ago on my channel. Say, for instance, there's an eclipse. Just go with me. There's an eclipse outside, and you have your little eclipse glasses, and you are looking up at the eclipse, waiting for it to happen. And you are backing up to get you the best view. You're just backing up to this perfect spot. And you backed up on a spot, you don't realize that you have backed up on a train track. Just go with me at the scenario. I just made it up, but just hear me. You're looking up, beautiful sight, you're on a train track. You even have your earphones in, listening to some music while you're looking at the eclipse. What you don't know is that there's a train coming. You can't hear it, you can't see it. Me, I'm not looking up, I'm looking at you. And because I love you, I don't want you to get ran over by a train. So, I need to say something. Now, I know you have a beautiful view looking at the eclipse. But if you get hit by a train, you ain't gonna see no eclipse no more. So you need to be warned that there's a train coming. So because I love you, I need to tell you, hey, get off the train track. There's a train coming your way. So out of love, I'm telling you to move it. Now, what does it have to do with anything? Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And once you are aware, there's that word again, aware, self-aware, aware that there's something different than what you realized or what you've known, it can change the whole outlook on your life. And right now I'm talking around the subject. But I really want to set this up nicely because I'm going to pick up the pace quite a bit very soon. But I need you to hear this. Hear ye. And I also want you to do this exercise with me. This exercise is, we're going to call it Test Your Logic. Test your logic. Because we have truth, and then we have, okay, let's start there. So the point of this game, you can either get you a piece of paper if you want to really go with me. But you're going to give the opposite of what I give you. I'm going to give you a word, and the object of is to give the opposite, the extreme opposite of that word. Part of this exercise is to see how logically you guess. And I'm pretty sure that everybody is going to have close to the same answers, if not for every single one except maybe one or two, and even maybe hundreds across the board, which will be great because these are very naturally occurring in nature. For an example, if I say left, what is the extreme opposite of left? I would say right. Now, these are extreme opposites, and it is things that we know to be true. Now, these are not ambiguous things or objectionable things like, is Pluto a planet or just another object in the solar system? I mean, it's basically, if I say up, what's the exact opposite of up? Down. Okay, great. Now you get it, okay? So, testing your logic and truth. We already did up. The opposite of up, you would say down. The opposite of left, you'd say right. What is the opposite of back? Not like my back, but there's a car in the back. Well, the opposite of having a car in the back is to having a car in the where? You guessed it, in the front. All right, here we go. The opposite of black, what would you say? What's the opposite of top? The top of the table. The opposite of the top is the, okay? Bottom is what I would say. What is the opposite of man? What would you say? I would say woman. What is the opposite of boy? I would say girl. In these days and times, I guess we come up with other descriptions, but I'm speaking of things that are naturally occurring. And I'm going to also go with, what is the opposite of good? I would say evil. I'm pretty sure that most of us, if you did this with me, we were right, we were in sync with the answers, with the reply. There are some people who would always attempt to find a different answer. 2 plus 2 doesn't always equal 4 to these people. But I want you to, as we continue, to think logically and to think truthfully and be truthful with yourself. Because when we are not truthful with ourselves, when we are not able to see the truth, when we are not being self-aware, that's when we are very, very vulnerable to becoming deceived. And the question is, what is deception? A person who is deceived do not know that they are deceived. because they're accepting lies for truth. But they don't know that they're lies that they're accepting. They think that what they're accepting as the truth is the truth, but it's really not. So they are deceived. And a person can deceive someone else. A person can be deceived. A person can deceive someone else. A person can be deceived by someone else. And a person can also deceive themselves. And a revelation that came to me is the reason, one of the main reasons, it may not be all, but one of the main reasons, as scientists say, that only 10 to 15 people of the population are self-aware, because many people have deceived themselves, has forced themselves into a deceived state. Otherwise, also known as just being asleep, not aware. If you're not aware of the things that are around you, you might as well be asleep because you're not really noticing the truth. People deceive themselves for many reasons. People deceive themselves to prevent them from seeing the truth. People do that on purpose because a lot of times the truth is a hard pill to swallow for some people. And so you prevent yourself from being very anxious, sad, or depressed. At least you think you are, giving yourself some type of peace by forcing yourself not to see the truth. And now this may be, everybody may not agree, and that's okay. When it comes to plastic surgery, now I'm not talking about plastic surgery from a perspective of corrective surgery. I'm speaking of cosmetic surgery. Enhancement surgery. Because there are many people who get cosmetic surgery. Cosmetic surgery. Some people don't like their nose. Some people may not like their eyelids. Some people need a facelift so they don't look so old and droopy and saggy. But you're changing the truth about yourself. It's what you are, what you look like is what you look like. Now, I'm not saying that people don't have the right to do what they want to do. That's not what I'm saying, and I'm not judging people who decide to get plastic surgery. That's not what this is about. This is about being honest enough to say, if you change your nose because your nose was too wide or too long or too humpy, you chose to change it because you didn't like it. But what you didn't like was actually you. Let me say that a different. You didn't like that part about your body. You don't like your nose. Let me stop saying you and let me say reflect on myself. So no one is offended because I'm not speaking to anyone directly. So I decided to change my nose because I think my nose is too wide. Now I know I have a wide nose. I do. And if I decide to change my nose, I have that right. And nobody has a right to stop me in this world that we're living in. That's not the point. The point is, I need to be honest with myself enough to say, I don't like my nose, I'm going to change it. Okay, now you're being truthful. Now I'm being truthful. I don't like my nose, I'm going to change it. But I don't like this is my nose. It's mine. So what I don't like is what's real. This is my real nose. And so this is kind of how we deceive ourselves. That was just an example. There's truth. And what I was saying before my camera really cut off on me, you have the truth and you have a lie. Then you have deception when we just accept a lie for the truth. That's where we're going to get into. And that's what I want to be sure to help shake and wake and have people to start looking at some things that you may have accepted as a lie, or have you told yourself a lie just to make yourself feel better? People do that all the time. This is going to make a lot of people upset, perhaps. And again, I use the example of my nose because it's a great example of me not wanting to accept what I have. I have a nose. It's wide. I don't like it, but it's here. So I have to deal with it. Or not. I can change it. Okay. Now let's talk about this. The opposite of a man is a woman. That is naturally occurring. And while many people may interject some other things in between the man and a woman, that there are not two extremes, one thing that we need to accept is that in nature, naturally occurring, male and female produces offspring together. It takes male organs and female organs to produce, and I say organ, but you can say the egg and the sperm. If you really want to get, I'm not trying to get that deep like that. I'm just trying to say, that's just a high level right there. The man and the woman. Men does not naturally have children. They don't naturally conceive children. That's a fact. That's not something that anyone can. Now, people are maybe trying to change things, and maybe a woman that has changed herself to look like a man may be able to have a child, but the woman in her original state was a woman originally. So that's why, even though she looks like a man, she can have a baby. I hope I'm not getting confusing. That's not confusing at all. It's a woman having a baby. It's not a man. I'm bringing this up because just having to talk, if we're going to be truthful, we need to really be truthful. Now, it's one thing to change yourself because now a person may feel like they're not that sex on the inside, and so one chooses to change themselves on the outside to reflect what they feel on the inside. This is a very touchy subject, I know, but we need to talk about something because, and this is not the all in, this is not where the story ends. This is just a portion of it. This is just going with what we're telling ourselves and how it affects us. And I need somebody out there to pay attention because this is not even, this is just scratching the surface. We have become people who can change and manipulate things that we don't like at the drop of a dime. It happens every day. And again, we're not talking about having the right to do it. We're just talking about doing it and why we do it. And then there are people who we can make up all types of reasons for why we do things. But I want to suggest that the reasons that we tell ourselves these stories is to make ourselves feel better. It's to make ourselves less anxious, less depressed, and more able to cope. So there are two things when it comes to a man and it comes to a woman. There's one thing particularly that distinguishes a man from a woman. There's many things, but there's one thing, and now for some reason that has become controversial. But the sex organs is a way to identify one from the other. Now, I know there are I don't want to say exceptions, but they are anomalies. I like that word. People who are special, who have both. It happens. Doesn't happen on a grand scale, but it does happen. But that's not the majority. And I want to talk about what would happen if there were not any male and females reproducing. Then there wouldn't be reproduction happening. So naturally occurring, there is the male and the female. And this is just not for human. This is in every animal out there. Maybe there's some exceptions to that as well. But naturally occurring, there are male and female. And in general, they mate to produce offspring. That's naturally occurring, and that's what happens. It's one thing to be honest about how we feel about ourselves. That's we feel how we feel. But if I decide, oh, I'm feeling like a chicken today. Yeah, I think I'm going to be a chicken. I'm not a man anymore. I'm a chicken. So I want you to call me a chicken. Now, it may sound very strange. It may sound very, somebody may say that's not the point. That's a completely different thing. But where does the line stop? Where does the line go? Is there a line? Now, we've become a people to where there are no lines. And there is, everything goes. And this is the point. The more we deceive ourselves to thinking, okay, I can be a chicken. I can marry a sex doll. Okay, there are people actually marrying objects. I don't know if anybody out there knows that, but there are people who are having unnatural, ordinate affections with objects that are not even a living, and that is becoming acceptable because people can do what we want to do. And so this is where we get into the whole deception topic. And it's a real thing, and we need to look it face in the face. We need to look it in the face and call it for what it is. It's one thing to accept that I'm going to change something about myself because I don't like this about myself. And there's another thing to say, I'm changing it because this is not who I am. I'm not a man, I'm a woman. Even though nature has created me, I've been created with a male organ. Nature just somehow got it wrong. Now, I'm not talking about orientation here and what you prefer sexually. That's not what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about changing what is already naturally occurring to become more likable and more suitable for yourself. That is deception, and then we keep ourselves deceived when we continue telling ourselves a lie. Everybody don't want to hear this, I know. But you need to, whoever is going to stay with me, I need you to stay. Because again, this is just scratching the surface. I'm going to have some cake. I'm going to lighten the mood and have some cake. You should have some too. Cake is sweet. Cake is good. Or is it not sweet? Is it sour and is it bad? I don't know. It depends on who you ask. Ooh. You want some? You can have some. You just take a bite. Take a bite out the whole cake. I could not resist this. I could not resist it. They're popping fireworks outside because, as I said, it is Memorial Day weekend. Okay, let me put this down for the whole cake fall, and I'll be crying. I hope it's as good as it. It's not bad at all. I got this from Publix. Somebody out there may be attempting to say that I'm judging. But let's review of the extreme opposites. If I say bottom is the opposite of top, I'm not judging. That's a fact. There's nothing ambiguous about that. Why does that happen? Why is the bottom the opposite of the top? It's because the top is the top and the bottom is the bottom. Because it just is that way. The truth is the truth no matter how you look at it. Now, you can manipulate the truth to make it become more suitable for you. That doesn't change the truth. You've just changed your perception of the truth. And so we've done that. So today, yeah, we're getting deep. We're going to get really, 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 really deep. And there may not be but 15 people who watch. That's going to have to be okay. You know, really only 10 to 15% of the population is self-aware. So that means there are people who would actually take the time to think about this type of stuff. It's going to be a pretty small percentage anyway. So I'm not really chasing views at this time. I'm just really trying to present something to you. And I'm trying to build up to, trying to build up to it. And I'm really just trying to lay a foundation for you to help build up to where we really need to go. I'm going to let that do for the discussion today. Next time, we're going to talk about two other extremes. We're going to talk about good versus evil. And whether we acknowledge it or not, those are two things that exist all around us. We all may have different opinions about what is good, or we all might have different opinions about what is evil. But when those two occur in its extreme, when something is extremely good, most people are going to be able to acknowledge and see the good for what it is. When something happens that is extremely bad, most people are going to be able to see it because it's an extreme, that it's extremely evil. But there's some things that are occurring that there's no doubt that it's extremely evil. If you need an example before we go, a person who deceives a little kid to kidnap them in order to abuse them in many harmful ways, that's very, very evil. And if anyone who says it's not evil, then that's your key that you're deceived. If there's anyone who's out there who says that sexually abusing anyone, for that matter, but I specifically said minor or kid, 2 and 3 years olds, people do that. We're talking about a hard truth here. This is truth. Don't want to hear about it, of course, because it's unfortunate, but it happens. And that's, again, when we deceive ourselves. If we don't like to talk about it, we don't like to think about it or acknowledge that it happens, then we blind ourselves to what is really happening around us. And when we don't acknowledge the things that are happening around us, we don't acknowledge the truth. And not acknowledging the truth keeps us asleep. That's what this talk is all about. It's about waking up to see the truth in what is happening around us. So, what is the source of evil? And what is the source of this good? We can all observe and see that there is good and there is evil that exists. And those are two extremes. There are positives and there are negatives. But where does this come from? What is the source of good and what is the source of evil? That's where we're going next. I hope you stay tuned. I love you for watching. I really do.